Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Friday, April 26th, 2013. Well, how would you like to be Hank Greenberg, the former CEO and chairman of American International Group? Mr. Greenberg, for 8 years, since 2005, when a suit was brought against him by then Attorney General of New York State, Eliot Spitzer, seeking some $6 billion in damages personally from him, has been living under this threat. Last night at about 8 p.m., the New York Attorney General dropped the claim for damages in a high-profile civil suit against Greenberg, which continues to accuse him of defrauding investors. They intend to bring him to trial, but they are dropping the action for damages. Mr. Greenberg is no doubt very relieved, but he still will have to go through a trial. It could result in a number of things against him, including a potential ban on working in the securities industry in the future, or serving as an officer or director of a public company. But I'm sure he's quite relieved. In Russia, a tragedy occurred early today. A fire swept through a psychiatric hospital just outside of Moscow, killing 38 people. Some of them were sedated and in their beds. The one-story brick and wood hospital building housed patients with severe mental disorders. According to the health minister, half the patients took sedatives at night. She insisted that the patients were not tied to their beds and were not given any medication that would have left them unconscious and unable to escape. At least 29 of them were burned alive. That big fertilizer plant explosion in Texas continues to have ramifications. According to documents, subsidiaries of the W.R. Berkley Insurance Company have filed a suit against the owner of that plant. The insurers involved in one of the 2 lawsuits filed against the owner, which is called Adair Grain Company, claim that Adair, by their negligent acts, ended up causing the explosion that resulted in damages to the plaintiffs. The plaintiffs in this case include a car dealership, a local bank, an auto supply store, a bakery, 2 churches, and a small hotel. Authorities say that the cause of the April 17th blast remains under investigation. However, possibly hundreds of tons of highly volatile ammonium nitrate were stored at the facility. And that would indeed be a proximate cause. The big broker Aon posted a 10% profit rise all the way up to $261 million for the first quarter. They had been at $238 for last year. They also say that they saw their total revenue increase by 3% up to $2.9 billion. They say that organic revenue had increased by 4%. That's a big number if it all bears out, which I'm sure it will. The broker said that that reflected revenue growth in both the Americas and their international business. Revenue for their retail division came in with a 3% rise, about $1.97 billion. The total death figure at the Bangladesh factory collapse continues to grow. It's now way past 300. According to the Army today, it's now at 304. Meanwhile, the authorities still continue to pull people alive from the rubble. They've now taken out hundreds. They found 41 people in the same room when they finally excavated them earlier this morning. Now, however, there is a massive outcry in Bangladesh, in Dhaka, where the factory was located, because of angry people and garment workers, mainly concerned about working conditions. The state-run Capital Development Authority said that the owner of this particular building did not have a proper building permit, and he had also added 3 stories to the building illegally. And the structure itself was not in an industrial zone, and that factories were not permitted there. Bangladesh, of course, has been plagued by a succession of horrible incidents in which garment workers have been killed because of unsafe working conditions. They are the 2nd largest exporter of garments in the world. Meanwhile, people listening to this, as well as I myself, are probably wearing Western apparel that was produced in factories similar to this. This is going to continue until people begin to get the message and boycott them. You'll remember what happened with Nike when the boycott occurred about supposedly substandard working conditions for their running shoes. Yesterday, the Chicago Board of Options saw their system knocked out for several hours because of a software glitch. It is going to add to continued discussion by the federal government to make sure that the computer systems and programs used across Wall Street and other big exchanges are up to par. And in San Jacinto County, actually in the city of San Jacinto in Riverside County, California, authorities continue to investigate a fire that killed an estimated 100,000 baby chickens. This was at a processing facility. The 4-day-old chicks were trapped inside a 200-foot-long structure as more than 30 firefighters from 8 engine companies responded to the incident. The event occurred at the Mohawk Farms facility. Damage and losses are estimated to be in the $1 million range. Thousands of other baby chickens were saved due to aggressive firefighter action. No word whether these were egg-laying hens or chickens that were being grown to go to the likes of Purdue and others. That's the news for today. Have a pleasant weekend. If there's anything breaking news, we'll come back and see you later today. If not, we'll see you Monday morning.